And we are live with the spotlight on the one, the only, the Mr. Badass of DayZ, Facility Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, BJJ. I thought it was blowjob at first, mate, but I wondered what the other J was, and then I found out, I better not say that to him because he'll kick my ass if I do. Oh, you're... there we go. Now you're unmuted. I don't know why that didn't unmute you at the end there.
All right, check. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. I was just saying that I get a lot of those blowjob jokes because of my name.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what the other J's facility blowjob jokes.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly.
There we go. We solved the mystery of what the final J stands for, mate. How are you doing, sir?
I'm on the better end of getting over the flu. I had the flu over Christmas. Feel a whole lot better. Still got a cough though, so I may mute from time to time just to let out a little cough. But other than that, I'm great. I'm real good.
How did you have a good New Year's and Christmas, mate?
Played DayZ. And that was it.
Yep.
I don't go out and party. I don't do the whole family thing. I just hang out at the house and run some DayZ. That's it. Look
at this, mate. We've got a couple of viewers already. Mackay and Peachman, how you doing, fellas? So yeah, Darkwing and Dave. There we go. So we're going to actually be doing these live with the podcast ending. I still want to do stuff. I still want to be able to talk to people about it. But I figured this is a much better way to do it. More casual, a little bit more intimate, shall we say?
Oh yeah.
But yeah. What am I talking like that for? This microphone is bloody broken at the moment. I don't even need it in my face at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, mate, tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get into DayZ?
I don't remember exactly how I discovered DayZ. It must have been someone's video or something. I couldn't tell you who.
How long ago, roughly?
Oh man, when it was still a mod. Yep. I honestly don't think that it had been out for very long when I discovered it. I remember having a potato of a PC and trying to play it and getting about 4 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that was about the extent of it for me for a lot of years.
I reckon there's a lot of people who ended up having to get a fairly decent gaming PC to be able to play this game. I started on a little gaming laptop that I bought secondhand. I think it had like a 550 graphics card in it back in 2011 or 12 when the mod was big. That was more for the young fella because he was doing well at school, and I would dabble on it. And yeah, it's there. You need a fairly decent PC to be able to play it well.
Yeah, and I didn't even. Man, that PC, I think it was like a shitty compact PC or something back in the day. You could get at Walmart for like $700. But yeah, it didn't run DayZ for me, so I just used it to, steal movies and music for a long time.
Were you always a gamer beforehand, or this was the game that got you started on gaming? Or
I was always a gamer. When I started, I remember starting on Atari back in the day. And then
showing your age there, mate.
Yeah. My legal dad was a super nerd. And he had a Commodore VIC-20. I started on that and then went to a Commodore 64. And then, the Nintendos and Segas and PlayStations and Xboxes.
How old are you?
And then I'm 43.
Damn, because you're talking about all the stuff I remember, mate. The Commodore 64 and the Atari 2600 and.
Yeah, and I think so. I heard that DayZ was coming to console, and I was a hardcore console player, just in general, and I was really excited for it. And before I heard it was coming out on console, I had at that point had a decent computer and started playing it on PC, and then I heard it came out on console, so I jumped all over that and played that for a little bit. I mean, I didn't know, come on. And then I was like, man, fuck this, I'm going back to PC. And so here I am.
Now you've got another. We'll come back to talk about DayZ, but I want to talk a little bit more about you. You've got another very, very interesting hobby, which is obviously part of your name, the BJJ side of things.
Yeah,
And it's your job as well.
it is. I been doing jiu-jitsu now officially, and I say officially because I did like 2.5 years of not being in a gym and trying to learn off videos and things like that, which I don't recommend, but I did that for about 2.5 years and then decided it was time to move back home in East Texas. And I've been training now with the coach for 12.5 years. And, he started as a white belt, got my purple belt from Helson Gracie. And then we had a falling out with the owner of that gym, not Helson himself, but the owner. And we kind of bounced and started up our own. So my coach and me and a few other guys. And I had ended up being fired from my job the day after Thanksgiving, I think back in 2017. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, we've been talking about doing morning classes and building this place up. So if we're going to do it, we need to do it now because I got another job offer. And he asked me what they offered me, and I told him. He's like, I can't match that. I was like, dude, just cover my bills and give me ramen noodles to eat. And he said, how much? And I said, give me $800 a month. And so that's what I started at. I started at $800 a month. And, now we've grown into a gym where we've got a few hundred members.
Wow.
And I make more now than I ever have in my life. And I hardly do anything. I feel like, I still do a lot, but I feel like it's super easy.
So what was your journey to ending up getting into BJJ? Did you do any other martial arts beforehand or?
Yeah, I did Taekwondo when I was younger, when I was, I think, 11 to about 13.
Yep.
And then I quit that because I was beating the assistant instructor while sparring pretty consistently. And I only tested once for a belt and went to yellow belt. And he was a black belt and way older than me, but it got to a point where I was tearing him up, and then it got to a point to where they were having me teach the newbies, and I'm like, I'm like 12 years old, dude. Like, I don't know how to teach. I'm like, just do what we do. Show them what we show you. And when I fucked up, I had to do push-ups. So here I am, 12 years old, making a 40-year-old grown woman get down and do push-ups because her form is shit. And it got to a point, dude, where I was just like, I'm not into this. Like, and I just quit. And then I was a big pro wrestling fan for a lot of years.
Sorry, that just seems very unprofessional to be getting a 12-year-old who's got really no knowledge of instructing to teach in a class. That's very surprising.
Yeah. I felt like I wasn't getting. I feel like I got to a certain point, and then it just stopped. And they noticed too, because he's like, you used to be so fast and energetic and this and this. Like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm just not into it, dude. Like, you got me teaching. I'm paying you money so I can learn some shit. And plus, I got into a fight at school, and it didn't work. So I got my ass beat. So Taekwondo didn't help.
I've heard that saying that, and I know this is quite an old school mentality, but I think everyone needs to have their ass kicked at least once to fully understand what it's. Yeah, there's a lot more to it, but you need to have had one good ass kicking in your life, because it adds a lot of perspective on stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you haven't had your ass kicked yet, 2024, make it happen. You need to experience what it's like to get your ass whipped.
Preferably go to a gym and do it somewhere controlled, not on the streets. If you want to know the dangers of getting into a street fight, go check out our mate Vigilante Gamers Keto channel. Street fighting is for fucking idiots. But yeah, definitely go check out a gym and Yeah, it's great to know what you're capable of. You always think you're a little bit better than you actually are, and then when you get your ass handed to you, particularly for me, like I'm 6'4". I've generally always weighed, when I was fit and healthy, I'd weigh like 80, 90 kilos. I was quite strong being in the army and that. And then when I got into military unarmed combat, and one of the instructors there was like about 5'6", probably weighed 60, 65 kilos. And he absolutely destroyed me just wrestling on the ground. And I was literally, and he was barely breaking a sweat. And it was just so humbling and humiliating. But I learned from it. And I learned that, it doesn't matter how big and bad you are. If the other guy knows more technically, he's going to embarrass you.
Yeah, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, you just don't know, dude. Like, you have to go and try it. I mean, I get people that come into the gym all the time, like, that think that they know shit. And a lot of them are Marines, or they were in the Army.
Oh.
And they're like, yeah, we did our combatives and stuff. And like, I mean, that's cool and all, but it's way different in here. And then they come in here, these dudes are jacked, man. They're like 6'2" and probably like 220, just fucking ripped. And then they come in and they get wrecked by this 15-year-old kid named Carson, who's like 5'7", 135 pounds. He's my enforcer. I had a guy come in. He wanted to be called Reaper, and yeah. So he started doing some douchebag stuff and jamming his fingers in people's throats and tried to eye gouge somebody. So I put Carson on him, and the dude didn't stick around, but maybe for another two rounds after that.
So do you actually get people, like you see them all on YouTube, these videos of the guy who walks into a gym and says he can take anyone out there? Have you ever had that happen at your gym?
I haven't had anyone come in and like, challenge me directly or nothing like that. I have had a guy come in and claim that he was a black belt, that he was a no-gi black belt, and that he never trained in a gi before, but yet he had a gi in the truck. But he came in, and I was a purple belt at the time, and I fucking murdered him repeatedly. And then I let some of the white belts murder him. And we rolled no gi too, and he still just got his shit pushed in, and he never came back. So it's like lying about being a jiu-jitsu black belt it's almost like stolen valor. Like, you can get fucked up for that, like, for real. Like, it takes a long time, a lot of time and dedication to get a black belt.
It's probably a bit like with a lot of other aspects of life as well. Those who brag about what they are generally, I won't say that they're all, because there are some blokes who are just, I'm a black belt, and they legitimately are, but they're just wankers. Those who can do, those who can't talk shit about what they can and all the rest of it. It's like Johan Gucci says there, a little knowledge is dangerous. And these people who big themselves up about what they've done and all the rest of it, regardless of if they can back it up, they're just not the sort of people you want to hang around. They're the ones who are going to get you in a lot of trouble all the time. Yeah,
I agree with that. Matter of fact, though, I did have, so when someone goes to our website and they enter their info to, for more information, it sends them an automated text, and it says it's from me. And so when they reply to that text, then we're having a real conversation through text, right?
Yep.
One guy replied today, and he's like, I want to know how to beat your ass. And I was hitting back, and I was like, come in tomorrow at 6 and sign a waiver, and we'll find out. So he ain't gonna show up though. If he does, I'm gonna fuck him up. But yeah, man, there's not many people that come in that want to challenge you directly or nothing like that. I mean, jiu-jitsu's grown so much over the last 5-10 years. Like,
MMA's made it massive, hasn't it? It's pretty much
it really has
seen as the go-to all-round martial art BJJ is.
For the most part, I think it's the single most effective.
Yeah.
But if you want to be well-rounded, you got to train everything.
Yep,
So
and
you
that's
need your
what I'm
jiu-jitsu,
seeing
your
a lot of as
wrestling, your
well.
striking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to do it all.
Even taekwondo, it's great for kicks. Boxing, boxers are always a handful. Even though all they really ever do is box, but they're competent at what they do. They're not afraid to get in close, and what lets them down is their lack of grappling knowledge. If they were to take on someone like that, but all the different martial arts, which boxing is a martial art.
Mhm.
All have their even the one that gets made fun of all the time, Wing Chun, has some elements of it that are still very relevant.
Yeah, I think every martial art has its place, except for that no touch KO bullshit.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah,
I mean, like even with Wing Chun, which honestly, I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I know that there's like a lot of good meditation stuff in it,
mm,
and so I mean, people can benefit from that. But the thing about it is about that, or karate or whatnot, is you gotta make sure you don't get that false sense of security or that false sense of confidence. And the only way, in my opinion, the only way to find out where you are in a fight is to either be in one, or when you're at the gym training, go hard. But you can't go hard in karate or something like that. Somebody gets knocked out. You can go hard in wrestling. You can go hard in jiu-jitsu. You can spar 100% and not hurt somebody in those things. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why they're so effective,
yeah,
because you're going to fight the way you train. And if you
yep.
train going fucking hard, then that's how you're going to fight.
You put a choke on someone, provided you have someone watching, or you let go as soon as they tap. You can go in 110% with it, and just let go the minute the pain. Whether you got to hold on, they tap, or you'll hear them scream even, or something like that. To let go. Whereas if you strike someone, you could potentially kill them. One thing I did want to touch on was with the martial arts. China's a weird one because with Tai Chi. And there's that Chinese MMA fighter who's been going around actually embarrassing some of their Tai Chi masters in actual fights. Because a lot of people don't realize that Tai Chi, despite the meditative side of it, it's actually they kind of advertise it as a martial art as well. And the whole country though is kind of engaged in this psyop where they don't want Tai Chi exposed as being as bad as it really is.
Yeah, they got to protect their secret, man. It was like
Yeah.
Bruce Lee teaching Jeet Kune Do. Like, they didn't want him doing it, so
No.
they sent people after him. You know, so if you know you're full of shit, and you know that there's somebody out there that wants to expose you, you're gonna put up a wall. You don't want to be exposed.
What's been some of the benefits for you of spending so long practicing and bettering yourself for martial arts on a personal level outside of the martial arts spectrum? What does it bring to you as a person?
No more anxiety, no more depression. Um, I didn't have anxiety. I never had any anxiety until I was 15, and my stepdad beat the shit out of me because my mom told him to. And my stepdad and I always had a really good relationship. I looked at him like he was my dad. Um, and then out of nowhere that night, he beat the shit out of me, and I was just like, "What the fuck just happened?" You know. And from then on, like I would start having anxiety attacks and things like that.
That's fucking
Uh,
heavy, man.
yeah, like I couldn't even go to the mall. If my friends came and picked me up and we were going to go to the mall, the closer we got to the mall, the more I felt like I was choking. And it wasn't just a mall; it was other places too. And it was difficult for me to even get out of the car because I felt like the more I moved, the tighter the choke got, and it would get to a point to where if I kept trying to push past it, I would throw up. So a lot of times I would just shove my finger down my throat and get it over with, and then I'm good to go. Um,
It's weird, the physiological reactions to stress and anxiety and those sort of things. Like, it's part of, I've been quite open about this. I suffer from anxiety, depression, PTSD and that as well. And part of the reason why initially I didn't believe I had those conditions, but then my doctor pointed out to me, he goes, you've talked to me about some other physical problems you've got. And he goes, they're the side effects of it. And I was like, what? And he goes, irritable bowel syndrome. That's literally, without wanting to talk too much about it, anyone who knows who iDubbbz is probably has heard of this now as well. His girlfriend brought up that he's got it, which was a shitty thing of her to fucking do, because if he doesn't want to talk about it, but it's literally shitting yourself when you're feeling stressed. Gastroesophageal reflux disorder, that vomiting that you were experiencing. I've had those conditions for a decade or so now, and I never knew really what caused them. I just figured it was dietary, but no, it's all related to my stress and anxiety. Everyone knows Dave talking about irritable bowel. There we go. Yep, I came at the right time. IBS, it is and it literally is like bang that. The way you were talking then about it hits you suddenly, your feeling of what, or it used to hit you suddenly, that feeling of wanting to vomit. It's the same with irritable bowel. I can be perfectly fine, and then within 5 minutes, I'm needing to find a toilet because something has set me off. It's fucked. I hate it. Hate it with a passion. It made traveling overseas very interesting.
Sounds like a shitty situation.
Oh, I see what you did there. See, Everything can be laughed about, folks. Everything can be laughed about. You just got to have you got to read the room. And with me, pretty much anything's on the table. But yeah, so that must, I don't know whether I want to delve into this, man, but you were 15 and your mum tells your stepdad to beat the shit out of you. What the fuck was that with that?
Yeah, my mom didn't like who I was at 15, or who I thought that I was. You're 15, you don't know shit, dude. When I was 15, I was listening to, rap and, whatever. And I was out running the streets, basically, is what I was doing. Literally out running the streets, hanging out in the hood, doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing, breaking into buildings, fucking.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop you here because we said before, and I think there'll be some people that'll go, but didn't we just say before that everyone needs to have their ass kicked? Yes, you do, but you've got to be very careful who does it. When you get a father figure to beat the living shit out of their son, their charge, that's completely different. That's a psychological fucking nightmare, as you went through. That I can't. I hope you got a good relationship with them now, because I can't imagine my missus ever telling me to go and beat the living shit out of my son. If I was to lay a hand on him, she would beat the living shit out of me.
No, man, fuck that guy. I haven't seen him in shit since I was about 27, I think.
Did he ever apologize?
No. Matter of fact, as soon as he beat the shit out of me, I told him I was going to kill him, and I got up and went to my room, and then he came in my room talking about being a man. And which I did plot to kill him. I went and got a gun from a friend of mine at school the next day. It was a Glock, and then he didn't have the bullets, so he was going to get those for me the day after that. I had a friend of the family over, and he saw me hide the gun in my closet, and he told my mom. So when I came home the next day from school, I went straight in there, and the gun wasn't there. And she had taken the gun and thrown it in a lake. And we couldn't have any guns in the house anyway because my mom's a felon. My mom's a multiple-time felon. And I got my stepdad was also abusive to my mom. So over the course of an entire weekend, my stepdad beat me up. I got a gun stuck in my face walking home, where 3 guys tried to rob me. And then, my stepdad beat my mom, and I was just like, I'm fucking done. And my mom ended up having me admitted into a psychiatric institute for 12 days for premeditation of murder, because I was going to take him out. But, kind of at the time, I didn't know that she told him to beat the shit out of me. I thought he just did that on his own. So I was pissed off that he was beating the shit out of her, and I was going to kill him. But come to find out, she told him to do it. So, my stepdad and I were big pro wrestling fans, and we would wrestle sometimes. And that's kind of, in my eyes, that's kind of where it started, because we would wrestle and then he would catch me in something and I would tap and we would go again. And, got to a point where he had me face down on the couch with my arm behind my back, almost like a Kimura. And, I'm like, all right, I quit. And he kept pushing up on my arm. And I kept telling him, like, dude, like you're hurting my arm and shit. And I was like, get the fuck off of me. And he's like, what? And then pushed on my arm again. And I it didn't break, but like I felt the pop and it freaked me out. And so I kicked my legs out straight. And when I did, I kicked the coffee table over. And then he jumped on me and just started fucking wailing in the side of my head about 4 or 5 times, and then picked me up and threw me into another table. And then that's when I got up and was, I'll fucking kill you, bitch, and this and that or whatnot, and went to my room and shit. But yeah, he's not a good guy. He was always abusive to my mom. He was also a drug addict. There was something else. Oh yeah, I watched my mom shoot him in the shoulder one day when I was 18 because he was beating the shit out of her. And then she started ramming the car with her house and this and that or whatnot. And he came outside and we had like one of those big garden stones, and he threw it at her car and it landed on the windshield in front of my face. And she stepped out with her 380 and held it sideways and shit too, which I thought was kind of funny. And fired off 3 rounds, and the third one hit him in the shoulder, hit the bone and ricocheted and came out kind of up top. And then she did she ran from the cops for about 3 days and then did 3 days in jail, and then he bailed her out. And they stayed together for a few more years until
wow.
That's fucking stupid. I don't know. I don't know, dude. My mom's crazy too.
It's one of those things, mate. Sadly, those sort of relationships, they're so bad for each other, but they just can't move on for whatever reason. You see it all the time, man. Yeah, it's that whole bad boys sort of thing, and it's sad, and it's sad that a kid had to grow up in that, mate. Do you have kids of your own?
No. I mean, I've played dad. I dated a girl for 4 years, and at the time she had a daughter that was almost 2. And the little girl's name was Raven, and Raven's biological dad was in prison for, I think, counterfeiting money or something. And I was told he was a piece of shit even when he was free, but Raven kind of claimed me as her dad, and so we had this little family going on for a few years, and I loved being a dad, dude. I really did. It was one of the best times of my life. And then when mom decided that she wants a man that likes to go out and party, she fucking yanked the kid out of my life and went and had her own little shit. So
that's got to be hard, man. That's got to be fucking hard.
Yeah, and then right before her and I got together, I had this chick that I was banging. Like we were just fuck buddies, and she ended up getting pregnant, and just told me out of the blue one day, like called me up. I didn't hear from her for a long time because the last time we got together, like we had a little argument. But I thought I had a little boy for a year and a half, and I played the part, dude. I didn't have enough money. I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. Didn't have the money to go get a test done, a DNA test. It was like $400 and something. But I was sending money down there twice a month. And then he lived with me for like 9 months. I was a single dad for like 9 months. And then Leslie and I got together. So I went from no relationship, no kid, to being a single dad, to then having a little family with 2 kids, and then it was just all fucking gone. And it sucked a lot, dude. And when When I found out the boy wasn't mine, I spent the rest of the day with him. I took him to his grandma, and I said, as spiteful as your daughter is, like, I can't stay in this kid's life. She's going to use him as a weapon against me, because she had already been doing it. And so I dropped him off with her, and that was the last time I ever seen him. And then when Raven's mom bounced, I knew it was coming. She, I started seeing patterns when I'd walk in the house. I'd walk in the house and she would be getting off the computer upstairs and coming downstairs, like almost every time. I would hear her in the other room on the phone at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I put a key logger on my PC to see what was going on, and found out that she was talking to some dude from Texas that was stationed overseas. He was a Marine. And I'm like, here we fucking go. It was like, Raven's had 2 dads already. You're about to give her a 3rd one, kick me out of the fucking picture. And this guy could come back in a box, dude. Like, he could get blown up and come back in a box. And that's what happened. Like, he ended up coming back, and they got married and this and that or whatnot. And then he went back for another tour and then got blown up and came back in a box. So then the little girl had 3 dads, 1 in prison, one good dad, because I'm not good at a lot of things, dude. But
she's off to a bad start, the poor bugger.
Yeah, and then a dad that's now dead. So I did get to see her again when she was 11. Like 7 years had passed since I've seen her, but she didn't remember me, and it was kind of bittersweet, but ain't nothing I can do about it, and I just had to fucking keep going. And because of that, when we split and she took the kid, I went from everything I said that I had to nothing. Depression kicked in, so I lost a job. I had no house because she moved away. We were using her vehicle because mine was busted, so I had no vehicle. I was basically homeless. And then I had bounced around from couch to couch for a little bit. Stayed with my mom and stepdad for about a week. And with my parents being junkies, there were always syringes laying around. And I picked up a syringe and I picked up some rat poison. And I really fucking contemplated it, dude. I was about ready just to check out. And I looked over and I had a picture of Raven that I saw. And I was just like, maybe there's a chance. And so I didn't do anything and ended up staying with a friend of mine, getting 3 jobs, and slowly but surely started sort of bouncing back and got into jiu-jitsu. And that kept my mind busy, and it was something that I immediately fell in love with. And over time, the depression started going away, the anxiety started going away, and I started feeling like you have to have something physical that you can do to get all that negative shit out of you, and that was my thing. And I was training 4 hours a day, 7 days a week outside, whether it was snowing or it was hot as shit. We were out there getting after it, and it was just, it literally was a lifesaver for me. It's kind of cliche. You hear, jiu-jitsu saved my life and blah, blah, blah. It really fucking did for me.
See, the thing is, remove the particular martial art you did. So many times you hear physical exercise of some sort, whether it be you get into rock climbing, whether it be you get into long distance running, whether it be you get into a martial art or CrossFit or whatever. I'm not a fan of CrossFit; it's a fucking cult, but that's a story for another day. But some sort of physical exercise. You look online, there are countless papers, there are countless people talking about physical exercise is one of the best things you can do if you suffer from depression and anxiety and all the rest of those sort of well, I'll call them the lesser conditions. You know, when you're talking about your schizophrenia and some of those sorts of things, no, you need a bit more than physical exercise, folks. But for your lesser ones, your anxiety, depression, and so on, even PTSD, they're saying, yeah, a lot of people with PTSD, a physical exercise of some sort, it's something I've got to do, but I've got a few physical injuries that kind of limit what I can do. But yeah, find something to channel your energy into, and it will do wonders for you psychologically. Is you hear that time and time again.
Absolutely. You know, it does help with PTSD. Jiu-jitsu does for sure. I've had quite a few guys come in and they're like, you know, they were in the military and they had that camaraderie there and they want that again, and they're having a hard time adjusting to civilian life, or you know, there is the PTSD, or you know, maybe they just don't have anything and don't know where to go next. And they come in and they start training, dude, and then next thing you know, you got a whole nother family here at the gym. You know, and my coach / boss / best friend is such a good dude. Like, I'm very lucky to have him as all three of those things. You know, we had a kid come in and he was riding one of those Razor scooters, man. And it's winter and he's riding this son of a bitch like all the way across town to the gym. You know, we got him a bicycle, dude. You know, had one guy that was helping teach kids class that lived upstairs with no AC in the middle of the summer. And it's like 110. Got him an AC, dude. You know, it's good to have a support system like that, you know, when you need something. My coach lost his 2-year-old daughter to cancer, you know, about 12 years ago, you know, and everybody pulls together and helps. You know, there were people that were going out and doing their grocery shop and people that were preparing their meals. Like, they didn't have to focus on anything except for what was right in front of them, you know. And so you get all that, dude. Like, it's not just going in there and learning how to choke people and fuck people up. It's you get the camaraderie, you get the physical activity, the stress relief, the camaraderie. Like, you get everything, dude. And people don't know that. And that's why I try to encourage so many people to go out. Most gyms offer a free trial. Sometimes it's 1 day, some are 3, we're a week, you know. Get out, go try it. You got nothing to lose by trying. You don't have to be in shape. You get in shape while you train.
Be careful of the gym you go to, folks. There are some bad gyms out there. You know, your Cobra Kai mentality. But if you can find the right group of people where it's a supportive environment, look online, look around, ask around. You know, if you know anyone in your neighborhood, find out what they're like. And if you can find a good supportive network, it can do wonders for you. But like everything in life, there are bad groups and then there are good groups. Find that good group and it will do wonders for you.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to check out a gym, dude, but don't know what gym's good for you or whatnot, hit me up on Twitter. And if you don't mind, you don't have to give me your address, but if you want to give me like a general idea of the area you're in, I'll be more than happy to research that gym and their lineage and all that stuff for you. I love turning people on to jiu-jitsu, man, just because it's made such a difference in my life. I've done a complete 180. And if it can do that for somebody else, like, I want to help, you know. So my DMs are always open. If anybody has questions about that, by all means, hit me up.
This is a good segue into getting back to gaming and so on. A good gaming community can do the same. Yes, it's, you know, not as good as getting out and touching grass and being physically active in that. But you know, if for whatever reason you may have you know, social anxiety, just not like getting out or whatever, and feel more comfortable. I know I personally feel more comfortable online. IRL, I struggle. But yeah, you know, find yourself a good community. And it can do wonders for you as well. You know, it's a bunch of people who are there who'll have your back. And you know, we've all seen some absolutely wonderful things done in, you know, the DayZ community. A lot of people give it shit for being toxic and all the rest of it, but you know, I always point back to look what happened with Wobo when his mum fell sick. and the whole community rallied. And, you know, the Running Man did that stream and raised, you know, what, 20,000-30,000 US dollars to help Wobo take the time off. And then Wobo was able to do what he needed to and then come back to the community, you know, when we needed him the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't lock yourself into, a quiet little room and not socialize with anyone. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. You need to have some sort of external contact, be that through a job, be that through gaming, be that through exercise or whatever. Do something, anything. Get yourself out there.
Yeah, no, you have to. You I don't know if you can hear that. You heard those dishes. Yeah, I mean, you got to do something, dude. Matter of fact, one of those names that you mentioned in the DayZ community donated money for one of the girls at my gym. You know, got a 13-year-old girl that came in. It was being bullied, and we wanted to let her train for free, but you know, there's the cost of the gi and this and that, and jiu-jitsu gis are expensive. But this one particular streamer, you mentioned you mentioned the name, but he sent me the money for it. So, well, I don't know if he wants me to. We communicated through email.
Oh, okay. It was done privately. Yep.
Yeah. But he sent the money to get her up and going and uniformed up, and she's still going. She ain't getting bullied no more. I tell you that. The person that was messing with her ain't messing with her no more. Yeah, they tried it again, and she decked him in his nose.
She decked him. You go, girl. That's girl power.
Yeah, she put it on him.
Yep. No, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, do you get much shit from the guys at the gym and that when they find out you're a video gamer and you stream and stuff like that? Because it's seen as such a nerdy, you know, the gamer meme sort of, you know, fat basement dwelling person mentality. Do they give you shtick for being a gamer?
No, not at all. I mean, jiu-jitsu, believe it or not,
too scared to, or they're just nice people.
Dude, jiu-jitsu's full of nerds. It really is. Like, a lot of us play video games. A lot full of stoners too. So, yeah. But you got people from all different walks of life, dude. Like, there was a guy at the gym the other night talking about playing some video game, and I mean, a lot of them do know that I stream DayZ and stuff like that. But yeah, man, a lot of gamers in jiu-jitsu. You know, I got one guy that just came back, and his job is TikTok. He does product reviews on TikTok, and it has like a little link to his store. You know, but you got guys that do that. You know, guys that could be bouncers at clubs, and we got a few doctors up there too. And you got everybody in between. So nobody really giggles about it, you know. A lot of guys, they hear I do it and they're like, "What's that game about? Never heard of it." And I start telling them about it and like, "Oh, that's fucking cool. It's like real shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, give it a go. See if you like it."
So what got you loving DayZ so much?
Just off the top of my head, there's two things that I really love about DayZ. Number one is the unpredictability. You get on there, you don't know what's going to happen, and you can have conversations with people all over the world. And whatever y'all do in that game,
we're doing right now.
Exactly. Whatever you do in that game can either mean living or dying, you know? And I like meeting people and hearing their stories and stuff sometimes. You know, I met a guy named Ben day before yesterday on Bitterroot. And there was a girl running with us too named Brittany, and it was nighttime. So we were up in an apartment just chilling, talking about Brittany was a stripper. She was telling us about some shit, you know, at the club, and Ben's a talker. And I mean, we just sat there for like 40 minutes during the nighttime and had a good time. And then I ran into Ben the next day, you know, ran into him in Sour Sweet the next day. They were running together, and I made sure to get him added on Discord now, stuff like that though. But that's one thing I love about it. The second thing I love about it is the adrenaline from a good gunfight. You know, especially if you're a solo player, dude, and you go in there and wipe a squad of like
Even
four
even not
people.
even just a gunfight, even just dying suddenly and not knowing what the hell happened, and just it literally is fear inducing. And if you lose that edge, oh, I don't ever want to lose that, man, because it's what makes DayZ unique.
Yeah, 100%, man. I get such a rush. I used to wear the heart rate monitor, which I need to get back to this year. Um, you know, my heart rate when I would just be sitting here streaming and playing would be like around 60. And then I go and get into a PvP fight and it goes to 147.
Wow.
And it's just like, whew. There's been a couple fights where I've had to like decompress afterwards. Legs are shaking, hands are shaking, heart's pounding. I
Mum spaghetti.
love that rush. Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, spaghetti's being made in the kitchen right now. But
Hey.
I love that rush. I don't get that rush from anything else really, except for maybe like a Slipknot concert, you know. But I can get that rush any day coming in here and playing DayZ.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I guess I'm a DayZ adrenaline junkie. But
Yep.
when you're a solo player and you're going up, you see like a 4-man squad or something, and you're like, let's give it a go and see what happens. And then you pull it off, dude. It's best feeling, the best feeling in the world. You know, you go in undermanned, undergeared, and you come out on top. And I love it. I love it.
Given the struggle it can be sometimes, and the end screen is just you are dead in a basic font in small on a massive screen, no replay, just respawn, brutal. And that's,
Hell yeah.
I shared a video just the other day, this guy explaining about it, and the permadeath of DayZ is, it's not complete permadeath. You can still get back into that server, and how many times have you run back to your body and been able to carry on, or if you're playing on a base server, you can go back to your base, but you still lose whatever you've got on you. You're back on the coast. There's a few servers out there which are a bit more like Rust or Scum, where you can spawn back in your base or near your base or whatever. But for the most part, no. There's, and that's the popularity of servers like Day One, these no base servers, because it still retains that original DayZ standalone. Because the DayZ mod had bases and all the rest of it. A lot of people forget that. But depending on which version you were playing, of course. But yeah, the DayZ standalone, the early days of it, there were no bases. It was stashes. You'd have a stash of maybe a barrel and a mill tent somewhere, but you couldn't lock them off unless you exploited some sort of bug or glitch or whatever. But yeah, you could lose it all. And even with base servers and all the rest of it, you can still lose it all. There's no save, go back and reload where you were. Everything's gone. The base raid goes wrong, and yeah, you've lost everything.
Yeah, and that's where some of that rush comes in, because it's you don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and like I think it was Gucci that said it, 1 second you're alive, next second you're dead.
Yep.
There's that risk and reward, and they can be massive. The risk is always massive, and the reward, it could be. You don't know.
So what got you into wanting to stick a camera in your face and streaming the gameplay?
When I first started streaming, it was, I don't even remember if I was doing jiu-jitsu first or DayZ first, but because I used to stream jiu-jitsu on Twitch, but it was to try and earn a little bit of money for some insulin, because I had a cat that was diabetic. He ended up, he died about a year ago, but he's diabetic, and the insulin was like $164 a month or something, and so that's why I kind of started streaming. And one night I was doing a jiu-jitsu stream in the living room. So whatever we would teach at the gym that night, I would come home, move the couch out of the way, lay some mats down, and then Jordan, my lady friend, and I would get down on them. We'd put our gis on, get on the mats, and I would basically teach the viewer what we did in class that night. And this one particular night, I had 2 certain people in chat, and they donated $850 for me to get a decent PC.
Wow.
This was like 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Ended up getting like a Ryzen 3700X 2060. It wasn't bad. And so then it just kind of went from there. I started sort of watching more streams, stuff like that. Stumbled upon Jimbo Slice when he was live on Twitch. Yeah. He and I ran together for a couple years. And he's kind of out doing he's kind of out doing the family thing right now. And I'm broke, man. I can't afford Boydie. I tried.
I'm cheap as chips, mate.
But yeah, Jimbo and I played together for a couple years. My PvP was trash too back in the day, dude. Like if I ran into somebody, I was dead. I was basically a human meat shield for him. And we haven't played because he stopped streaming and he started pursuing running two businesses and a farm, I think. And so we haven't played since I've gotten better. And I've gotten way I'm not fucking Toprek or nothing, but I've gotten way better than what I was. And maybe one day he'll come back and we'll do another run together and shit. But yeah, yep. Jimbo was a good dude.
Jimbo was I remember watching Jimbo back in the day from time to time as well. Don't think I ever got into DMs with him or anything like that, but I enjoyed his just very down to earth.
Yeah, he was. Another Texan. I think he probably lives like maybe 2 hours from me. We've almost met up a couple times. But yeah, we also used to fight the fresh spawns on, I think it was the Apex server back in the day.
Haven't they blown up?
They have, dude. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, man, but they're doing something right.
I think it's the chemistry, mate. I think it's the chemistry. Yeah, you look at so many of the big names, and there are very few. Smoke is just an exception to the rule on so many levels. But the majority of them all started off playing with someone, and there was a chemistry there. You Minder and Toprek and the rest of the Karma crew, Running Man, Barely Infected, Super FT LOL, Deadly Slob and Aces Fury, Sacriel and Smack and all the rest of those guys. They all started off, and that helped them get there. So that's when you've got these people who are collabing on a single channel. That's just, if you've got the right dynamic. You couldn't put me and someone who plays completely different to me. It'd just be a nightmare. You put me with almost anyone, and it'd be a nightmare. But if you can find someone who you've got that natural chemistry with and team up, and these guys who are doing it, together on a channel that they share, I love seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, those guys went from I don't know what their sub count is now. It's got to be close to 300,000 if it hasn't hit that already. But it was just like, what, 3 months ago? 3 or 4 months ago, they were about to hit 100,000, and now
443,000 subscribers.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
Their videos get. Their last one from 6 days ago, 72,000 views, 40,000 views, 60,000, 130,000, 243,000. So, they're just exploding. And to put that in perspective, let's have a look. The Running Man, who's been doing this since the beginning of DayZ, is only on 472,000 subscribers. So
that's wild.
I've got to actually. I know this is a spotlight on you, but I've got to actually look at this. Let's type in, because that's insane growth.
It is. It's a lot of growth, very fucking quick, dude. They keep going, man. They're gonna reach Stimpy numbers this year. I think Stimpy's like what 1.1 million now, I think.
In the last 30 days, they've grown 21,000 subscribers.
Jesus Christ. Show me the way.
Estimate, and this is all publicly available info on a website called Social Blade. YouTube, I always love the YouTube estimates. Anywhere between 75,500, which that's US dollars. That's not bad as a supplementary, and then you'd have other stuff all the way up to 1.2 million in earnings. So they've got a great formula there, folks. If you can find someone who you get along well with enough to create a channel and get into a business relationship with, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I mean, not to mention what they pull on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even with YouTube being the money pot, but still, they do pretty well on Twitch too. Now I wonder how they split all that though. It was like you run Twitch and I take YouTube, or if they split everything 50-50.
Do you want to know what Social Blade estimates you earn a year on YouTube?
Oh, probably not very much, but go ahead.
$122 to $1,900 is what it estimates you earn.
I would say it's a little bit more than what it says, I think. Yeah, it's probably just a tad bit more than what it says.
It's actually fairly accurate on me. The higher end, it's probably a bit under actually, because I generally make about 80 to 100 US dollars a month. It estimates 87.8 earns between $46 to $744. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever I get, I just turn back around and throw it right back into the stream, or I give it to somebody,
Yep.
I know I gave away quite a bit of money this year, just in tips, like waitresses and wherever. Go through a drive-through and grab a soda here, fucking $20 tip for you, or go out to eat and leave a $40 to $80 tip for them or whatever. It's just, I don't know. That's just kind of what I do. Like money's not that important to me.
I'm not.
It is, but it's not.
Stretch the imagination. We live okay. There are months where it's tighter. I've just been having the worst run of late with bills. I've got a car that's broken down, dogs needing surgery and stuff like that. But I still like to do nice stuff myself. I was enough of a shithead in my younger years that I've got plenty of things that I need to get some karma back for. So if I can do stuff to help people, whether it be with, we didn't do a big Christmas show this year because everything just kind of fell apart for me and stuff like that. But it's what I like to do as well. Yeah, whether it be helping someone with a mod. I've got the server. We're doing the Bitterroot server again for Maddie, although that just finished again. Since Facility is Batman, how did Marks become his Robin?
I'm Batman. Nah, man, Marks is a good dude. I'm probably Robin, and he's probably Batman. He would probably like to be Batman anyway. No, Marks is a good man. When I was thinking about coming over to YouTube, even you, Boydie, you, Marks, Archie, Beans, B-Wad, they were all telling me like, yeah, you need to come over here, dude. This is where it's at. And they all helped kind of kickstart me over here a little bit, And there's some of those people that we don't see eye to eye and we don't talk anymore, but I still give them their, still give them that respect and stuff for doing what they did for me. I don't forget things like that. If we're homies and you help me out with something, even I didn't ask for the help, but they offered, so cool. But and then we have a falling out. Like, I'm not gonna just start completely bad mouthing you and shit. Like, you helped me out, I will remember that.
Yeah,
and that's just how I've always been. But
friendship is easy when everything is sweet. Is something I saw just the other day. Friendship is really proven when there's issues. Whether it be you need to help someone or you got to stand by someone, support someone. A lot of people these days don't understand that, but you and I, we chat quite often behind the scenes, mate, and DMs and all the rest of it. And some of the people we run with, people don't like me, but there's people who don't like you. There's people who don't like Archie and all the rest of it. But you guys are my boys. I might not agree with everything you say, but does that mean I'm going to dump you when that happens? Fuck no. I've got way more in common, and the overriding ethos of both of you is good fucking blokes. So whilst I might not agree, I think you've told me to pull my head in, and I've told you to pull your head in maybe once or twice on a couple of comments, but for the most part, but I had someone say to me the other day, if you're friends with someone who's a racist or a bigot or a phobe or whatever, then that means you are too. And I was like, no, I can disagree with someone on something and still have them as my friend. You don't dump someone just because of one thing that you might not agree with. If I found out you're a pedophile, fucking all bets are off the table. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Right,
I found out you rape a woman or a murderer or some murder. There's times when that could be justified, like a certain stepfather. When I would go, well done, mate. I back you 100% on that. But we're not talking about genocidal fucking crimes here. We're talking about mean words and all the rest of it, and everyone just wants to dump everyone these days, and I don't get that, man. You stand by people. I don't know you from a bar or soap other than what I've seen online, and chatting with you, sharing a few silly videos here and there. I do love our little chat that we have with the videos. I find the stupid ones. How good was that last one? The chick trying to take down old mate. I loved your comment. I don't get this abandoning and all the rest of it. If you're going to be friends with someone, it's more than just milking them for something you can get out of them. You choose to be a friend with someone because that's a person that you're prepared to stand by when times are tough.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude. Exactly. And what's funny is that people on Twitter, like, you're literally spelling it out what you mean, and they still don't fucking understand. It was like that shit with Zarge, man. Like, I met Zarge before he even thought about Iztech.
Yeah.
I ended, like, me and Jimbo are cool now, but there was a point where we weren't, and it was because he falsely accused, like, Jimbo and I had been friends for like 2-3 years at this point, and I just met Zarge, and Jimbo falsely accused Zarge of stream sniping. Well, I provided him the evidence. He didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, well, fuck it then. I'm out. Have a good life. Peace. But since then, it's water under the bridge, and we're all good and this and that or whatnot.
Yeah.
But, Zarge disappeared.
You work through those issues with someone. You talk with them. And you sort it out. And you might get angry and you might say, you're a cunt or whatever. Oh, there goes monetization on this video. I don't care. But like Maddie's saying in chat there, we're never all going to agree on something 100%, and it would be fucking boring if we did. I always like to think it's our differences that make us more interesting. It's great when you find someone who shares the same passions as you, but I find it even more fun to try to understand why someone disagrees with you on something, but so many people don't even want to talk these days. Facility.
Dude, can you imagine how fucking boring and how dumb we would be if we were all the exact same?
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous, But like when Zarge left for like 6 months and then came back, he was immediately met with hate.
Yep.
And I made my post, if Zarge is working towards making positive changes in his life, then I support him.
Yeah.
But
no, you aren't allowed to. You have to cancel.
Yeah, no. But you had fucking, can I say names?
Yeah.
You had Saramore's fucking stupid ass coming in there talking shit about this is what you support, blah, blah, blah. No, bitch. The key word is if.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not fucking read and understand that?
I jumped in on that with you as well, mate. And I said something very similar. I said, he's making the right noises. He has to be given a chance. He hasn't done anything. He said some terrible things. I wasn't aware of the situation with Rackaroo because Rackaroo blocked me ages back, even though I don't know anything about Rackaroo other than he's got a fucking epic voice. He's got a voice made for radio. That's about all I know about Rackaroo, and that he's an ally. And that's why he doesn't like me, because he thinks I hate LGB people, which I don't. But I wasn't aware of that. Apparently, he had said some mean stuff and hurt Rackaroo. They used to be friends, but I don't need to know that. All I saw was someone coming back, and I'm aware that Zarge apparently liked some posts or whatever that were bad or whatever. I don't know what they were. I don't dive through someone's Twitter looking for anything and everything to find a reason to condemn them. But I'm going to give them a chance. If they say they're going to do something, I'm going to give them a chance to at least try to change, and not just beat them down for having said mean words or stuff in the past, liked mean tweets or whatever. You know, if they end up not changing, I'm going to judge them on that. But I'm going to give them a chance to at least. And you said pretty much the same, and that's why I agreed 100% with you, mate.
Oh yeah. I still got a lot of hate off saying that. You know, the key word was if, but they were so fucking hell bent on being right because that's what they fucking care about. And by they, I'm just saying Twitter in general, not a certain group. But just, you know, people on Twitter, man, they have to be right. People, even on Facebook, just social media in general, motherfuckers have to be right, and they want people to see how right they are. Like, they're afraid to be wrong for whatever reason. I mean,
I've lost track of how many posts I've written where I've added something in there about I could be wrong, but this is just my views and how I see it. I'm well aware I could be wrong, but this is my opinion. So, you know, if you don't agree with me, you think I'm wrong, engage with me. But they don't want to. They just want to yell and scream abuse at you and call you this, that, and the other thing, and say, you can't even make a joke these days without people getting offended by it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that first fucking dumpster fire that I started, I told them, like, my DMs are open. Fucking, if I'm wrong, educate me. You know, DMs are open. I'm willing to have conversations. If I'm such a piece of shit and you want people to be on your side, let's have a conversation. Tell me where I'm wrong so that I can make adjustments if I need to. You know, not saying I'm going to be
the amount of people who've said comments in here, mate, about what a top bloke you are. You're far from a piece of shit. It's just some people don't like hearing words that offend them.
Yeah, well, that's their fucking problem. Everybody that supports me, I appreciate you. I really do. And people that don't fucking like me, I don't fucking care. Suck my dick. I don't care. I'm happy when this. And here's another thing too, Boydie. When this fucking PC turns off, I'm still happy. You know what I'm saying? I got a job that I love. I have an awesome life away from this computer. There's a lot of fucking streamers that when their PC turns off, you ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Because you don't fucking go out and do anything. You don't have anything else outside of it.
Yep.
And so that's why you got to try and be this fucking hero online and stuff behind this screen. Turn that shit off and get out and go do something else, man. Like a PC can't be, you know, just streaming can't be your only thing. You know, what are you gonna do when your PC fucks up or something happens and you don't have it? You gotta have a way. Sorry, boy, I'm gonna cut you off real quick. But
no. I'm cutting you off. I'm being rude.
You gotta have something that you can do at any point, at any time, that gives you that fucking happiness and that peace inside your heart. And it took me a long time to find mine. Because, like I said, I was a way different person. Like, I'd spit in your fucking face and tell you, like, I hope your fucking kids die. Like, I hope this, I hope that. Someone make a video, take that shit out of context too, whatever. But that's not who I am anymore. You know, I have grown and I have matured, and it took me a long time to do so. And I have a lot of peace in my heart, and fucking nobody will ever take that from me. So people can hate all they want. I honestly just take screenshots of it and post it in Discord, and we all fucking laugh about it. But all right, sorry, rant over.
I just put something in chat, and this was a quote attributed to Muhammad Ali, and I love it. The man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. And I have changed so much from the guy I was when I was a young fella. I was not a nice person. I was a piece of shit. You know, I was a womanizing, drinking, fucking lecturer man. And I'm so much better now. And when I turn this computer off, I've got my wife, I've got my son, I've got my dogs, I've got my house, I've got, you know, so much that I'm happy for. It's part of the reason why I've decided to end the podcast, because, you know, I don't like, it used to upset me that the people around me would cop flack for me just being me. So I thought, why bother continuing to do this show? It's such an imposition on my family and I, you know, with the time it starts and all the rest of it, ruined almost every weekend. I can do things like this now. I can sit down in a more intimate environment with someone who I'm genuinely interested in hearing more about. And it's not just going to be DayZ stuff, but it's going to be all over the place, you know, just to talk about stuff and be able to talk about the opinions that I can't talk about elsewhere for fear of it, you know, causing an issue with someone. So yeah, you know, I love your attitude. We've got very, very similar mindsets on things, you know. And it's one of the reasons why I've enjoyed, you know, linking you up with Vigilante. That was one of the highlights of my time, was seeing you provide footage for one of his keto videos.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool. It took me a while to get that for him, though. It was just I kept fucking forgetting. But
yeah,
but again, it goes back to spreading jiu-jitsu. You know, if there's a way for me to do so, like I kind of want to do it. I mean, a lot of people have asked me too, like, well, why don't you just make jiu-jitsu content for YouTube?
There's a lot of it out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of it out there, and it's from multiple-time world champions, and that's no, like those guys would hold me down and put their finger in my butt if they wanted to. Like, and why would you come watch me do, you know, teach a jiu-jitsu move when you can go have like Gordon Ryan or Andre Gaval or the Mendez brothers or someone like that do it? They're probably going to have details I don't have, you know. And that's another thing. You got me going on jiu-jitsu, man. I can talk about jiu-jitsu all fucking day.
All right. This is your spotlight, mate.
You know, jiu-jitsu is a never-ending thing. It's constantly evolving. When Helson Gracie would come down and we would go to his seminars, like he'd come down like 3 times a year, he would always show a cross collar choke from guard. And it's like, oh, he's doing this shit again, is what a lot of people would say. But no, it's like every time he comes down and teaches it, you learn another small detail. And sometimes it's a detail as simple as just, where's the camera? As just doing that. You know, when you have someone's collar and you just do this, it drives this bone into their artery here. And, you know, something like that could be the difference between, you know, life or death or something, you know? And
I think that's the radius styloid, that bone.
What's up?
So I think that's called the radius styloid, that bone on the wrist. I think I remember breaking that when I was a kid playing cricket. But yeah, it's a nice little nub at the end there to get a little bit of extra oomph, impetus on something. But yeah, I want to ask you, what do you think of the melee in DayZ?
I'm disappointed that there's no flying armbar. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I thought, you know, they added the melee with the gun to stop people from stun locking you with punches, but you know, I mean, I thought that was good because it sucked always being geared and then having a freshie run up on you and just take it just because he got you stun locked.
Yep.
But I think it would be cool if you can sneak up behind somebody. I mean, I think a rear naked choke would. I think I said this in one of the previous podcasts, but applying like a rear naked choke on somebody.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, you hold down the mouse button or F button, whatever, and you can either let go and they go unconscious, or you can keep holding it until they die. I think if you can sneak up on a player like that, you should be able to have that kind of satisfaction in killing them. There should be like a stealth kill for players. And if you don't have a weapon, I mean, I think that should be it, or if you have a knife, like, stab them in the side of the neck or something, it would definitely have more people more
It'd need
willing
a
to
little
sneak
bit of
up.
nuance, because you've got to be able to have a way of countering it per se under the right circumstances. But when you've got something like Yo I Am Gucci is saying in chat there, the gun whack, that is the most OP. Like, it's something I struggle to even remember is a function in the game. Is the gun whack, but you see the likes of Minder and Toprek, and they literally just it's so overpowered that they literally just dominate anyone who forgets about the gun whack being part of the game, because it's an instant stun. You're back like that, and all they do is they gun whack you. You go back, and even if they've got a one-shot weapon, they can one-shot you with a BK-18. Gun whack you, you fall back, and then shoot you. Bang, you're dead. It's a bizarre mechanic for a game where the melee is quite almost an afterthought.
Yeah. I'll say this too, as far as some of the melee stuff goes. The up kick, I think, is just kind of pointless. When your character's on the ground and you're kicking upward, I think that's just kind of pointless. It doesn't.
I struggled to even understand what you were talking about. Like up kick was, when you're on your back, yeah. Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I don't even know if it does. I don't even know if it does damage, but if it does, it's so fucking small. What do you do? What do you do with that with that up kick?
That'd be an interesting mod for maybe someone, but again, I don't know. It'd probably be a massive mod to implement all the different animations and that. But try to add maybe a few more things in there, because there's some simple little trips that you can do on people when you're laying on your ground. Hook one leg behind their heel and use the other leg and push on their shin just below the knee, and you can make them fall over pretty much no matter how big they are. But again, how do you factor that into a game where the melee is kind of an afterthought? Even the weapon melee is just so bizarre. Like the pitchfork, I hate using it. It is just such an awkward melee weapon.
It's slow too when you use the like the power jab with it.
Yeah,
it's slow, dude. I'll say this though. Shout out to Matty Ice though for making the hose on Bitterroot OP, like against Zeds. the farming hose, like a two heavy swing to the head of a Zed. Shit, them hoes be out there doing work, cuz.
You dirty hoe.
Yeah, I was rocking a hoe yesterday. The last 2 days I was rocking some hoes. But yeah, I mean, I forget which item it was, but there's some items that you could use to kill yourself, in real life, but you can't use them in DayZ, which kind of weird. You can use something. There's something that would be more realistic than some of the options in DayZ, but you can't use them. So I don't know. I don't know, man. But I don't know, dude.
I'd like to see some work. There's obviously things that would need attention way more than the melee system, because it is something that's not used very often. Most of the time, it's a gunfight. But it's for the freshies on the coast. It's always something. But yeah, it's something I would like to see. Maybe get some love down the line. Maybe in Armor 4. The infusion engine, they could be doing some stuff there to show it some love, but time will tell. What does the future hold for you, mate, with regards to streaming and that? We talked a bit before the show, but you said you've got some thoughts.
I'm not sure, man. I kind of like what I was telling you earlier with my job. Like, I'm very, very fortunate to have the job that I have and get paid what I get paid versus how many hours I put in a week. Like maybe 15 hours a week and I get paid full time and make more money than I ever have. But I have, if I didn't stream, I would have so much more time to, I could go get another job if I wanted to. Or, you know, I got a weight bench, a whole fucking system in here that I just put in here, and I got a row machine I just put in here. I'd have more time for that, which I am about to make time for that though. But there's a lot of things that I want to do, that just don't have time for because I do stream. But I love streaming though too. You know, there's so many things I want to do, but not enough time in a day. So
We're
I'm
very
not
time
sure.
poor.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to keep streaming, you know, and if something happens to where I need to go and make some more money or something like that, then, you know, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But other than that, man, like as of right now, I don't see myself going anywhere. You know, I love DayZ. I love streaming. I love, you know, hanging out with people in chat. Even
Mhm.
if you know DayZ, it's people call it a running simulator and shit. Man, there's sometimes I can run 5 hours not see a single person, and the gameplay is boring, but chat is there and chat's flowing, and like we're having conversations, telling jokes, talking about some of my old sex stories or just like whatever, and we're just having a blast, you know, and we're cracking up and shit, and it still makes for a good time. So it's not always about the game. It's a lot about chat too. You know, I would rather have a boring game and a good chat than a dead chat and a good game. But
Yep.
that's just me. So I think a lot of other people would rather have it the opposite. You know, more people are, "Oh, I want that content and blah 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 blah." Yeah, I mean that's cool and all, but just for me, I like
I
talking to
just
people.
Same. It's why I do this, man. I love chatting, and just talking and getting a few people in. And I did and ah, you know, I've done the one with Dean. I was always going to do the one with Dean Hall offline because I just didn't want people coming in and ruining the atmosphere. And I'm glad I did it because I got to get, you know, a really good vibe going with him. But I was umming and ahhing about whether I stream these or whether I just do them offline. I thought, no, man, I'm just going to stream them. Because I like getting chat in here, and just, you know, getting some input, and, you know, like we've seen through this, mate, they add some interesting things, and it's just great having that little bit of dialogue with people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean it's one of the best things. You know, kind of goes back to what I was saying about in game and meeting people and stuff. You know,
Hmm.
there's people that come in chat that, you know, tell me. I've had a few people come in and are like, "Hey, man, like you're the reason that I started streaming, or the reason I bought DayZ, or I'm getting a PC." And I got a message a couple months ago that was really cool. You know, um, dude said he's battling cancer right now. He's like laid up in a bed battling cancer and shit. And he thanked me for streaming so that he can be in there and chat and watch or whatnot.
Yep,
And that was fucking cool, man. Like that meant a lot.
it does.
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah.
recognised in game yet by anyone?
Yeah, I get recognized every once in a while.
That's weird, isn't it? That's weird.
Kind of. You know, Rue, me and Rue used to recognize one another too, but he blocked me as well with that first go around. But like Jimmy Boo, like I ran into her I think yesterday, and she knew my voice, but she couldn't really remember my
She's
name
lovely,
for a second
she's
there.
lovely, Jemmy Boo.
Yeah, we had a good run, dude. I might see if she wants to do like an official team up at some point. But yeah, we had a good
Awesome.
time. Um, yeah, I mean, I get recognized every once in a while, but I don't care about that, dude. Like even if I blew up and were like fresh spawn numbers or running man's numbers, something like that, like I'm not a starstruck person. I'm not an egotistical or arrogant person. Nothing like that, dude. Like most of my favorite musicians, fighters, you know, whatever. Like I've met them and we've talked, and they're all just regular people. And at the end of the day, that's all that we are. We're just regular people that are sitting behind a screen in a fucking home, in a house or whatnot, your apartment, whatever, and we're just
We all
playing
bleed,
DayZ.
we all piss, we all shit, we all cry,
We're
we all
playing
laugh.
DayZ for all the same reasons. We're just here to have a good time. And so,
no matter how big someone is at something, at the end of the day, they're just another fucked up human with the same worries. I saw a video the other day of what's her name, the hot chick from Avengers, Black Widow chick. What's her name?
oh shit, I don't know, dude. I could.
But yeah, she was being interviewed by a female, and the female was basically saying, talking about body image issues, and she said to her, Scarlett Johansson, that's it. Obviously, you don't have them, and she stopped her and she said, "No, wait, just because I'm me doesn't mean I don't have body image issues as well. I can look in the mirror and hate what I see." It's Scarlett Johansson, generally regarded as one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth, and even she still has body image issues. So never forget that. No matter how much they portray, there are very, very few people that I would fanboy over. Dean Hall, I was a little bit fanboy over because he's Dean Hall and DayZ and that. But once I got talking to him, I had an absolutely amazing conversation with him. We don't all glow in the dark, though, Boydie.
Wait, you don't?
That's awesome. But yeah, mate, I think we have pretty much covered almost everything. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh man, I'm not sure.
Anyone in chat? Anyone in chat got a question for Facility before we wind it up? Anything they want to know?
I don't have an OnlyFans yet, guys. I don't have it yet. I do get bugged about that from time to time. I don't have it yet.
Okay.
I do want to say this though, man. Like, it's a new year, dude. Time's man-made, but we all still use it, right? It's 2024. Fucking
yep. Off to a bang with the earthquake in Japan. By the way, I was just like, "Fuck!"
I didn't even hear about that.
Talk about it. 7.5 earthquake off the west coast of Japan, which is a bit unusual. But yeah, only a minor tsunami, 1.2 meters at its highest, which is still bad. There's apparently like a 10 centimeter wave or surge is still bad. But I just sat there and I thought, fuck, man, what a way to start 2024 with a 7.5 earthquake.
Yeah, and Lad got his credit card info compromised.
I know, I saw that.
But it's a new year. If you're not happy with the way things were going in the previous year or whatnot, like, you got to be the change. You can't sit around and wait. You can't sit around and pray. You can't just sit around and hope that it falls in your lap, because it's not going to. You have to get out. You have to get out there and make shit happen. Like, I know you're not a Rogan fan, but as Joe Rogan said,
no, I am a fan. I watch a lot of his stuff. I'm just not I'm just not a complete fanboy. I don't understand this fanboy mentality where, I enjoy and I love the fact that he's open and that he gets people on and talks about anything. I love his curious nature, that he gets people on, and a lot of people take the piss out of him for it. They'll get him on. He has opinions on COVID vaccines and all the rest of it. I said, of course he can. He's a person, and you can have an opinion on anything, but he gets experts on and talks to them as well. And he would get people on who disagree with him if they wanted to go on, but most of them won't, because they're too worried about, go watch his. I point out to a lot of people, how many other shows do you see where they employ their own fact checker? And I've seen, what's his name? The guy who fact checks for him? Jamie. I've seen Jamie correct him in nearly every single interview I've ever watched. Actually, Joe, no, it's this. And he's never gotten rid of that. And when it happens, I don't think I've ever seen him get angry. I've seen him maybe disagree, but he can disagree if he wants to. That's his choice too. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of the guy. I don't think he's the greatest comedian, and I don't understand why people think he's a great comedian, because I've never really enjoyed his comedy. But I love his interviewing. He is a natural interviewer, and
that's fair. That's fair.
He's fantastic in that regards. I'm subscribed to him on Spotify because But yeah, I always found him to be more of a theoretical comedian than a natural comedian. It wasn't something that he more studied the art of it, as opposed to he's just naturally funny. Because even when I watch his interviews, I very rarely laugh at anything he says. His guests, they always have me in stitches. But him, no, I'll chuckle or wry smile here and there, but I just don't think he's a top 10 comedian by any stretch of the imagination. We do have a question here. What's Facility's favorite gun and map? I'm going to guess the map is Bitterroot.
Is Matty still here? It's Livonia. Sorry,
really?
Matty. Yeah, it's Livonia, dude.
Livonia You're unusual in that regard,
man.
No, it doesn't.
That it deserves. When I play Livonia, I mean, like I like Trinaris. I do love Bitterroot. Like Bitterroot's pretty fucking up there. Iztec was my favorite map for a long time, but we know what happened there. I don't like Namalsk. I can't get into it. But there's something about Livonia, dude. When I play Livonia, I feel like I'm actually out there having an adventure. It just for me, it has a different feel. It has that intimate. It has that. It just has a different feel that I can't explain than any other map. And I don't know, man. It's just been my favorite map for a long time. Like Iztec was my favorite for a little bit. Bitterroot's fucking solid though, to be honest. Like,
yeah, he's doing a great job.
Livonia here, Bitterroot's probably like right here for me. I'm very excited to see what Manny's going to do with that.
I want some custom cars. I want to be able to drive some of those car models that I'm seeing around there. The cop cars.
I see those, and I'm like, wait, can we drive those? And you go up to it, you can't drive it. You give me a boner, Matty, and then I don't get no play.
Blue balls, mate. He's leaving us for blue balls.
Yeah. Favorite gun though, that's changed here recently. I really like the Blaze. The iron sights on the Blaze. I like them a lot. And then
are you a gunman IRL?
Not really. Not really. I'm not a gun nut. I mean, I have some, but I'm not a gun nut. I do like shooting, but I mean, you can use the Blaze long range, short range, whatever, and you get that second shot real quick too.
But I was sad when they when they changed the two laser rounds to two slightly dispersed rounds, so you don't get the double whack with the bullets following the same trajectory. That was kind of sad, but
yeah. But I mean, we understand why they did it.
Yeah.
But
reality, it's a bit more realistic.
I'll tell you what gun I've really started to enjoy over the past couple of months, and that's the repeater. Like 357 used to be dog shit, and I hated the repeater. But I don't know if it got buffed at some point or what. But dude, the repeater's pretty legit for a little civilian gun. I like it a lot.
5 things you want to see them do this year
in DayZ. Oh man, to be honest, I don't have an answer for that. I do. I want the rework zombies. I want this inertia crap to be fixed, where you're getting pushed through walls and shit like that. And other than that, I don't care. I just want those 2 things fixed. I don't care about anything else.
Those 2 things. And the last question I have for you, is it snow or is it ash?
I think it's ash, dude. Like I heard.
You think the 10-hour theory?
Probably so. Now I heard that I forget which dev it was that made the post and put like the little snowflake thing. Could be trolling us, but I took a screenshot of it and zoomed in, and it looks like ash to me. If it's snow, which way are they going to go with it? Are they going to be like, oh, hey, here's the update. We're putting the Mosque on consoles now, or we're making the Mosque an official map. Like, no one cares now except for console people.
I lean to snow, and the reason I lean to snow is ash would be very map specific. It'd be something that they could only do on a map that had a volcano with it. Adam has always said the one thing he would love to bring to DayZ, I'm pretty sure this was even when I did a spotlight with him years back, is seasons.
That would be awesome.
I lean towards snow. Whether it's a full season system, I doubt it. I just don't know whether the DayZ engine can handle that. Infusion probably can. But yeah, I lean towards it being snow. But either way, I'm excited to see what they come out with. We definitely need a new map. We need a lot of maps. Yeah, I'd love to see them release some of the old classic armor maps as just a bundle, whether it be a freebie or whether it be a bundle DLC. But I'm really, really, really hoping we get a new map that no one has ever seen before, an official map that is by them, that our brothers and sisters on console get, and just something that everyone gets to experience together for the first time. That would be my dream for this year. But Facility, thank you so much, mate. You are a very fascinating man. Yeah, my God, I didn't expect I wasn't aware of your backstory, mate. And you took us on an emotional roller coaster this interview, mate. The thing that I've got to say is good on you for being in the headspace you're in now with such a rough start to life as a young lad, mate. And it's, there's a lot of people out there. We see it on Twitter all the time. The people who are always, going on about how they're depressed and anxious and all the rest of it. Yes, you probably are, but it's only you who can change that. And if you keep wallowing in that, and if you keep surrounding yourself with that, if you keep using it as a crutch, you won't ever get through it. You've got to man up and push through.
Yeah, I hate how mental illness has become a trend. When most people that say that they have it or whatnot, they really don't. They just want to be a part of something.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah. What was the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results or some shit. I mean, if what you're doing now is not working for you, dude, like, here you go. Like I was trying to say earlier, like new year, fucking make shit happen. And going back to the quote I was going to say from Rogan, like, be the hero of your own movie.
Yeah,
you got to. Like, nobody's coming to save you. It's all you. Yes, you might need some help. Ask somebody for some help, dude. It doesn't mean you're any less of a person. I had help when I was getting up off the streets.
A hand up, not a handout. Look for a hand up, not a handout.
Exactly.
Yeah. Facility, this was awesome, mate. I'm glad I started off the new year with you, mate. Started off with a bang. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be doing more of these. Probably try to get at least one done a week. I've got Hunter Z. I've got Rag Tyson lined up. I've got Helkiana. If you've got any ideas, jump into the podcast Discord. Can't call it the podcast. Oh, no, this is still a podcast. Yeah, the podcast Discord. And give me suggestions. Anyone who would like to jump on, I'm willing to have a chat with almost anyone and everyone. Get the word out there, find out more about people. One concise little video where you can go and, find out more about the people who make this community what it is. Facility, you're a legend, mate. You're a fucking legend. I'm really, really honored to have gotten to know you.
I'm not a legend. I'm just a dude, man. That's it.
Nah, man,
just a dude.
You're a legend. You're a legend. You're a good bloke, mate. And if everything goes to plan this year, I might be over your neck of the woods around about August, traveling on Route 66. I don't know whether that's anywhere in your neck of the woods, but if it is, I'll swing.
I don't know where that is.
Get your kicks on Route 66. That road that goes from California all the way through America, and
I've heard of it, but I don't know where it is, man. Like, it's rare that I leave Texas. Dude, Texas is so fucking big, man. Like, I don't have to leave it. We have everything and all the guns. So
that's one of the things I'll definitely be doing, is finding myself one of those gun ranges and get to shoot some of the cool stuff that I haven't shot in a long, long time. But anyway, mate, all the best, and I will see you all in the next interview. Facility, his links are in the description of the video, folks. Check him out. But yeah, all the best, mate, and keep your chin up. And I hope 2024 is a better year for you as well as everyone watching this, because the last 4 years have just been one hell of a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. This was fun.
It was very, very good. All the best, everyone, and I will see you next time. Ciao for now.
Peace.